Hey chat. Wait, when was the last time I streamed? 5 days ago. My lord, I'm lacking in the streams. I'm slacking and I need to get better at it. I am going to get better at it though. I'm going to tweet this out before I do anything, so I will forget. Actually, I'm not even going to tell you what we're doing today. You can see it on the screen. There's just signs, but Minecraft is the only place I could tell you. So in case someone joins, don't know what they're doing, what we're doing, sorry, they're going to just know. Dream's face reveal. Oh my god, he's Dream's face reveal. Damn it, I thought he had a smiley face for an actual just smiley face as his normal face. Yes, he doesn't. Wow, I missed a lot. A lot has happened since we've last streamed. Anyway, I've got a list of the most creepiest creepypastas on the internet. Where is it? I don't know. Never mind, I found it. We've got, first of all, Slender Man, which started off as a game and then became a film. The film's the most mediocre film I've ever seen, but it's pretty good. It's better than some stuff. Then one called Abandoned by Disney, which really intrigued me. Jeff the Killer, which I know a little bit about. It's really intrigued me. Yeah, his face is a bit weird. The Russian sleep experiment. I've seen that weird, creepy photo of. Obviously, it's fictional. These are all fictional. They're not real. The Aowoki apparently is based on Michael Jackson, so that's a thing. But Slender Man's first, so we're gonna do Slender Man first. Warning: there's probably violence in these, most likely. Maybe topics. I'll just mention them out before I read it if I see it. Is there an actual story on Slender Man on this, or do I just read his backstory on like a... What if I go to Wattpad? Am I gonna find really disturbing like fan fiction? Slender Man story. Oh my god, there's a Slender Man X reader. That's something we don't click on. No, these are just literally all shipping people. These are just something which I can't read on YouTube, so I might have to read just his backstory. That's the film synopsis, don't really need that. Let's read this. This is a story of Slender Man. How long is it? I can narrow it down. So every generation creates its own monsters, folk tales of witches and worms in the woods. Yeah, I don't really care about this. Slender Man is a pure product of electronic media. He appears in places we rarely frequent these days: abandoned crumbling halls, deep woods, a playground with a rickety steel jungle gyms. He is a suburban ghoul with his own history and his methodology, and of late he has become the object of controversy due to an attack in Wisconsin, during which two girls stabbed another in order to appease Slender Man's dark needs. Pleasant. It was a horrible story, and it underlies how little we understand about the psychology of a generation weaned on the internet and how images can morph from fiction to fact in the course of half a decade. Wait, Slender Man is not real. I ain't believing it for a second. Slender Man's origin is surprisingly clear. Unlike most urban legends, we can trace his provenance with absolute certainty. He was born on June the 8th, 2009, on a forum site frequented by Photoshop pranksters. He belongs to a guy in Florida named Eric Knudsen, who has a young daughter and is surprised as much as anything that his demon hasn't yet been thrown onto the heap of forgotten memes. Can't say that word on YouTube. An entire history and an entire corpus has grown up around him in a way that would have been impossible a decade ago. He's the first pure product of the internet, a demon spawned not out of a specific place but out of bits. Here's some of his story. Okay. So he first appeared on the Something Awful forums under a thread titled Create Paranormal Images. One user, Slide Byte, said, "You know, a couple of the good ones are going to eventually make it into paranormal websites and be used as genuine." He was right. The first image of Slenderman, of a tall, out-of-focus figure next to a tree, was accompanied by a bit of text that sounds like the dialogue from a badly translated horror game. I don't really care about that bit. Other posters added their own interpretations of the material, creating a backstory that stretched out to the 16th century Germany and even to 5000 BC. Wow, he's old. The creator Victor Surge added a few more photos, while other visitors created their own. One particularly clever image is a modified woodcut. In the original, skeleton takes a child from its parents, perhaps into death. In the modified version, the skeleton has long arms and legs, and his misshapen skull is hidden by the eaves of the house. Right. That just explains that he got popular with the game. We know that already. That goes on to say something else. Here you go. The key word there is terror. Slenderman does not directly kill his victims. Instead, he encourages others to do in order to please him. So basically, he hires slaves. Interestingly, the places he haunts are all but gone now, thanks to the breathless news coverage of murder and mayhem. Children are rarely allowed to wander in woods alone or play in abandoned buildings. Well, that's just common sense. You wouldn't shove your child in a forest at like 10 o'clock at night, would you? In fact, that he exists at all is a testament to the eerie pull of these places. He's the ghost in the parking lot patrolled by bored guards and CCTV cameras. He's the story that keeps you up at night in the centre of a city full of 8 million people. He's not I'm not saying that. PTSD, but wait, what? Of you? Jesus Christ! I can't read that. One popular video game created around the myth involves walking through a darkened forest surrounded by a chain link fence. All you have to do is find 8 pieces of paper tacked to nearby trees. As you find the paper, the buzzing of crickets and the rustling of the photorealistic trees changes into a steady pounding. Slenderman is afoot. He doesn't kill you, you simply disappear in a cloud of electronic snow. Right. By the way, if anyone's watching the stream and commenting, I can't really look at comments today, so I won't be reading chat today. What's this say? Forums and video series were filled with fan fiction and content. The quality varies widely, but it has grown oddly popular that we've read all that. Here you go. This is more on the 2 girls. On May 31st, 2 12-year-old girls in Waikesh... Oh no, it's a new... Oh no, it's not. Stabbed a 3rd girl nearly to death. The girls who called their plot Stabby Stab Stab. Wow, okay. That was bloody original, isn't it? I'm going to stabby stab you. And it was intended as a sacrifice to Slenderman. Authorities are trying to prepare as adults pending a mental evaluation. The tragedy here is that all the girls' lives are damaged now, or even potentially ruined. The girls believed Slendy would appear to them if they killed in his name. They also believed he had threatened them and their families and could read their minds. Children have always had fanciful flights of imagination. These claims sound much like the Salem witch hunts of the 1690s, where young girls accused each other of riding with the devil. The resulting panics led to countless false confessions and over 20 executions. Same could probably happen here. Then a few days later, around the anniversary of Slenderman's creation, a teen I don't know how to say that, attacked her mother. The teen, who had a history of mental illness, trigger warning, was obsessed with the character. The lack of detail in this and the previous case points more towards mental illness than anything else. Slender Man then became the focus of a mania that forced these girls to act out violently. Thus far, no more reports were found, blah blah blah. That's it, we've read the Slender Man one. There wasn't really a story to him, as such. I might just skip to Jeff the Killer, because I'm really intrigued by him. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna read all of them today, but I just want to skip to Jeff the Killer. He's intriguing me. This is an actual story. It's quite long though. It's very long. Is there a shorter one? I don't mind reading it, but I don't want it to be too long. Do I read this? It's so long. I'm pretty sure I've looked at this one. Do I just read it? And worst comes to worst, we make a part 2 of this. Screw it, we'll read it. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Liu couldn't complain though. A new better house, what was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. Hello, she said. I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son. She turns around and calls her son over. Billy! Oh my god. You have a son called Billy, and I already hate him. Anyone whose name is Billy, I cannot trust. It's like the goats. Why is my... Okay, no, I am trapped in wires. I am just trapped. Actually, this ain't good. Never mind, I've fixed myself. These are our new neighbours, Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. Well, said Jeff's mum, I'm Margaret and this is my husband Peter and my two sons Jeff and Liu. They introduced themselves and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday party. Oh, birthday. It's not... Okay. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mum. Mum, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid. Jeff said his mother, we just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbours. I don't spend time with my neighbours. I don't talk to them. Now we're going to that party and that's final. Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Yeah, shut up, you stupid kid. Whenever his mum said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff and he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Liu finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then all of a sudden some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. So basically, he's the kid no one likes. Well, it looks like we got some new meats. Suddenly 2 other kids appeared. One was super skinny and the other was huge. Well, Jesus Christ, that's just body shaming. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. There is Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face, and you would expect a sidekick to have. And here's Troy. I'm not reading. That's just so mean. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. What the hell? And I, said the first kid, I'm Randy. Now for all the kids in this neighbourhood, there's a small price of bus fare. If you catch my drift, Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes, when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. I had hoped you would be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got this feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured to him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk, give back my bro's wallet or else. Randy pulled the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, and what will you do, Jeff? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose as Randy reached for his face. Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Jesus Christ, Jeff's a psychopath. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He punched Troy straight in the stomach and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Lou could not do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, that was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing. They started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids. As you do. But Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away from the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop. And how now he probably wouldn't be taking a bus anymore. He felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Right. Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. "Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed." "Stabbed, son?" Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. "Mum, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou." "Son," said one of the cops, "we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witness proving that you fled the scene. Now what does that tell us?" Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but there was no proof it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing, because truth be told they were, so Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. "Son, cool down your brother." Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all the kids. "Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me." The cop looked at his partner and they both nod. "Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie." "A year? He stabbed people." Bruce isn't that bad. But he stabbed people. And he's getting a year. Now, I do criminology, and that is not right. "Wait," says Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou. "It was me, I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it." He lifted up his sleeve to reveal cuts and bruises as if he was in a struggle. "Son, just put the knife down," said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lou, it was me. I did it. Jeff had tears running down his face. Got a message. Hold up. Her poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Lou out of the patrol car. Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Well, you just saw a police car drive away from your home. I'd be pretty worried too. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him. As Jeff wept in the driveway after an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by with no word from Lou at JDC. I'm guessing that's juvie. No friends to hang out with. Nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy sunshiny face. Jeff, it's today, she said as she opened up the curtains and let light flood into his room. Wait, what's today? Asked Jeff as he stirs awake. Why, it's Billy's party. He was now fully awake. Mum, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go up to some kid's party after... There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up, his mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they ever wear such a fancy clothes to a kid's party? I mean, he has a point though, doesn't he? Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jeff's mum. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hid it with a smile. That's what I would be like, to be honest. In fact, I wouldn't even go to the party in the first place. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled downstairs. Just pick out something. That's what he did, you moron, called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he would call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which go with dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. You're wearing that? They both said. His mother looked at her watch. Wait, he wears the white hoodie in the creepypasta photo, doesn't he? Oh, no time to change, let's just go, she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door and it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go and meet some of them, said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly a kid came up to him, handed him a toy gun and hat. Hey, what a boy, he said. No, kid, I'm way too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with the weird puppy dog face. Please, said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend shoot at the kids. Now, I can see where this is going. At first he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off of Lou. So he played with the kids for a while until he heard a noise, a weird rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with burning hatred. Hello, Jeff, is it? He said. We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw his bruised nose. I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you and you got my brother sent to JDC. Randy got an angry look in his eye. Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked about that one day, but not today, as he said, that Randy rushed at. This is just American bullies. They just don't bully you. It's more of watching a comedy show than anything. In fact, I want to go. Actually, I don't want to go to American school for reasons. But if I got the chance to meet with an American bully, I think I'd find it more funny than I did going to a comedy show. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff should be a WWE wrestler, not gonna lie. Jeff pushed Randy off of him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith pulled guns out of their pockets. Jesus Christ. No one interrupts our guts will fly. Wait, what? Oh, no one interrupts all guts will fly. I was gonna say. They said Randy pulled out a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picks Jeff up by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. Gee. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff, fight me. He picks Jeff up and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Jeff's just being thrown across room to room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC, and now you're just going to sit here and let him rot in there for a whole year. You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally, you stand up and fight. Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Finally, he's up, says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him to the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. Jesus Christ. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch. Blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. Jeff is a menace. He's like a menace to society. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. Well, I'm not surprised. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith, although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him, each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final round of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He dropped the knife and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It burnt both of them and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled the towel rack and swung it straight at Keith's head. As he lay there bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny? He said. Is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff. Now a man on fire drops to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realised that there was some tube in his arm. When he tried to get up, it fell out, and the nurse rushed in. I don't think you can get out of bed just yet, she said, as she puts him back in his bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked. Jeff couldn't answer though. His face was covered and he was unable to speak. "Oh, honey, I had great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go." This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube come out of his arm. "He'll be out by tomorrow and then you two will be able to be together again." Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it, what he would look like. As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. "Let's hope for the best," said the doctor. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face. What happened to my face?" Jeff said. He rushed out of the bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face, it's horrible. His lips were burnt a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white colour, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, then back at the mirror. "Jeff," said Lou, "it's not that bad." "Not that bad," said Jeff, "it's perfect." His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noted that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay?" "Okay, I've never felt more happy." "Look at me, this face goes perfectly with me." He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine, that is. His parents didn't know. "Doctor," said Jeff's mum, "is my son alright?" You know, in the head. "Oh yes, that behaviour is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers. If his behaviour doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here and we'll give him a psychological test." "Oh, thank you, doctor." Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. "Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go." Jeff looks away from the mirror. His face still formed into a crazy smile. "Okay, mummy." He turned it back into a 4-year-old. His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. "This is what came in," said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mum looked down to see the black dress, pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and now stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. "Oh my God. Jeff, what are you doing?" asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother. "I couldn't keep smiling, Mummy. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever." Jeff's mother noticed his eyes ringed in black. "Jeff, your eyes." His eyes were seemingly never closing. "I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself. My new face." Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mummy? Aren't I beautiful?" "Yes, son," she said. "Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy and so he can see your face." She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. "Honey, get the gun. They're gonna shoot their son." She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. "Mummy, you lied." That's the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with the knife, gutting both of them. And now his parents are dead. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed there and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. "Shh," Jeff said. "Just go to sleep." That was actually a really good story. Wait, I can continue reading it. Is there actually any more to the story? No, there isn't. That was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that. That was actually that was a intriguing story. Right, I'm gonna go to Abandoned by Disney now. Abandoned by Disney. Story. What's it about? Treasure Island? I thought it was like Mickey Mouse. That's Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Don't really care about that. I might just research what this is about. Oh, it is about Mickey Mouse. Okay, I'm gonna just read about this one. Disney is one of the few world famous names that instantly makes us remember some of the most iconic characters. Even after Disney and Pixar started working together, many characters have seen the light of day and found a place in our hearts. But the character that this particular story talks about is one of the most popular, most recognised and most fun face in the history of Disney, Mickey Mouse. We refer to Mickey Mouse as being a face of fun and happiness. It's now why most of the kids stuff has a Mickey Mouse icon in them. However, I realised the other day that when you turn the story upside down or look at the characters at another angle, you could easily turn these funny faces to something so dark that only a nightmare should be the right place for them. I discovered this interesting truth when I came across a long series of images on the web that said how Toy Story 3's characters had a dark side in them. At first you look at them and you think they are cute and funny. Later in the movie, as their true faces are gradually revealed, you slowly realise how dark the inside was of all of those colourful characters. My first encounter that Mickey Mouse can be a sign of something dark and evil was in a particular Mickey Mouse cartoon that was actually aired. The episode was full of fun sounding music, as most of the episodes are, but if you remove the ongoing music from your ear and manage to look beyond the characters' faces, you realise how dark the story of that particular episode was. Abandoned, it's relevant. Here's the episode I'm talking about, and it's unavailable, and you guys can't see it anyway. The author writes in first person how they managed to enter a place that was abandoned by Disney in the aptly titled Creepypasta story, Abandoned by Disney. Apparently Disney left a large palace that was supposed to be a big attraction in some island. The place lays empty and the media apparently has no interest in covering why that is. Perhaps Disney is big enough to divert the media's interest to something else, the author wonders. Curious to find out what the true story of the place is, and also to photograph something extraordinary and come back with enough experiences to write a compelling blog post, the author of the story heads into what's known as Maugi's Place, the place Disney abandoned long ago. At first he discovers that the place looks exactly like what most of the abandoned theme parks look like nowadays. Most of the stuff had been looted and the few furniture that are too heavy to be taken away lay around. However, it was until the author managed to break into what was locked until then, when he found out the ugly truth about Disney's abandonment. At last, the author finds himself agreeing that Disney's decision to abandon the place was the right decision. That was really useful, but like, there's other stories we need to read. We got two more. These are the Russian sleep experiment and the Ayawaki. I'm gonna go straight to the Ayawaki. I want to know how Michael Jackson is gonna, you know, be creepy. The Ayawaki story. That is terrifying. Wait, is it not Michael Jackson? It looks like him. Yeah, it's based on a Michael Jackson creepypasta. I was right. Oh, he looks terrified. Oh, I hate that. Just the Okay, that's funny. No, it's made me... Okay, it's a bit funnier now. It's not a real story. I'm not believing it. Can I just read about it then? I'll just read about it. This is about the game. There's a game called Escape the Ayawaki. We'll read about this. Well, it's pretty simple offering. Players are finding it as satisfying, though brief diversion. In the game, the player's being kidnapped and locked up in a creepy old mansion. The objective is to find a key hidden somewhere in the house and use it to the main door to escape. There are a ton of similar games, whatever. The game is based on a Spanish creepypasta about a strange animatronic character that resembles the late Michael Jackson. In fact, I just read on, and it's made me laugh. In fact, Ayawaki is actually a play on the singer's Smooth Criminal lyric, "Annie, are you okay?" As the legend goes, Ayawaki makes his appearance in people's bedrooms late night, 3 a.m. to be precise. If I go to the toilet and Michael bloody Jackson's standing there, I'm going to be 1, creeped out, 2, kind of impressed, 3, ask him if he could sing, 4, if he could make me famous, 5, run away. Those visited by the Those visited by the Ayawaki will recognise his presence when they hear Michael Jackson's signature. I can't do it seriously because I'm laughing too much. Oh, would that be funny or scary though? Walking into your bathroom just hearing In Escape the Ayawaki, the creepypasta nightmare becomes a reality. I hate that those eyes are just locked into mine. As players move hurriedly through the house in search of the key before the Ayawaki finds them. In the background, players will hear a wonky sidetrack that is vaguely reminiscent of Smooth Criminal, as well as heavy breathing and little hee-hee noises at various times throughout the theme. Girl game. It's the sound of your heartbeat thumping even louder, though that indicates that you're about to encounter the Ayawaki. The feel of the game is entirely based on the jump scare anticipation. The Ayawaki often appears quickly and with little notice, catching you entirely off guard. The Ayawaki is a nimble character who scampers around upright or on fours, seeking out... On fours? Imagine Michael Jackson crawling at you. At unsuspecting victims. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty unsuspecting. Players can get a temporary reprieve if they hide behind objects or under chairs. Escaping can be tricky because of the speed of the Ayawaki, but there is no series of puzzles or whatever. It's a free game. PC and Mac though. Interesting. I didn't like that. That was pretty funny, but the images I did not like. Not gonna lie. Pretty terrifying. What was I gonna do now? The Russian sleep experiment. This is the last one. It's a book. There's a book about it. Huh. I don't like the image for this as well. It's men's health. Should you read the men's health one? I'm actually going to read this. Especially if you haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately, you might wonder just how long you can go on like that. Exactly how long could you stay awake without cracking as a result of sleep deprivation? Some people say that there was an over-the-top experiment for that. Experts are quick to debunk it. The Russian sleep experiment is a popular urban myth which began to circulate online in creepypasta forums, so named for the case, which you could copy-paste spooky content. In the early 2010s, but could this deeply unsettling legend have had some roots in fact? Well, I sure hope not. The story goes that Soviet-era scientists created a stimulant which they believed would enable soldiers to not require sleep for up to 30 days. They decided to test their new gas on 5 prisoners, promising them that their freedom upon completion of the experiment. They locked the 5 men in a hermetically hermetically sealed chamber and began pumping in the gas. Within a few days, the men were exhibiting the kind of paranoia and psychosis that is a typical symptom of sleep deprivation. But as time went on, they began to act even more strangely. 15 days into the experiment, when scientists could no longer see the men through the thick glass of the chamber or hear them through the microphones, they filled the room with fresh air and unlocked it. There they discovered that one of the men was dead, and the 4 surviving test subjects were all supporting horrendously violent injuries, some of which appeared to be self-inflicted. Trigger warning again. Attempts to sedate the man were either unsuccessful or led to their deaths. The moment they lost consciousness, finally, when one of the researchers asked what exactly these men had become. The last surviving test subject told him that they represented the potential for evil that exists in all human beings, which is usually contained by sleep, but had been unleashed by their constant wakefulness, chilling stuff. Is it actually true? I'm not going to read it, because it probably isn't. People can a bit longer than 11 days we can stay up with. And that's it, we've read it all. I really enjoyed that. I might have to do a part 2 of this stream and find more creepypastas that we can read, because I enjoyed that so much. I hope you did, guys, as well. The first Spooktober stream. It's only scary streams we're doing this month. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first one. Thanks for coming, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow, actually. I think I'm going to do a stream tomorrow. What am I doing? What did I plan to do tomorrow? I know I planned something. Wait, I'm gonna look at it. Can't remember what I planned to do tomorrow. If I can do it, I might be busy with like work and stuff, like college work and stuff, homework, other stuff. Yeah, a TikTok stream tomorrow, but that doesn't have to be long. That'll probably be like 20 minutes, so I most likely will be streaming tomorrow. See you guys, I'm gonna go get some water because I've been speaking just non-stop for ages. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye, guys.